Let's see, but now how do I? Why isn't playing that?
That's never supposed to do anything.
But it usually shows me, so I see where it is.
I think maybe they changed it, but you're live now.
Lost connection. All right, guys, trying to figure this out. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30. It is March 7th. Take a look at the disclosure real quickly before we get into the 6:30 club. I got Red Pup here trying to make sure that we do this the right way. Let's go to the charts and web real quick over here. I can see the disclosure. Red Pup's going to go leave and get some coffee. It's all right. Rise and grind. What up, What up, Andres? How we doing out there in Montevideo? Let's see. We got Texas in the house. Red Pup came. You know me. I'm an old dog. I'm not good with the new setups and technology, and we're streaming live everywhere. By the way, if you're watching this on Instagram, the charts aren't great. It's better to do it on the desktop. The best spot to actually watch us is on Twitter with all my friends and dogs from around the world. What up, Palm Beach? How you doing? We got Oklahoma in the house. There you go. It is 6:31. We'll say hello to a few more guys. What up, Tony? Good morning. Hopefully everyone has their iced coffee. Hopefully everyone's getting ready for the day because this is going to be a fluid week. Got the third envoy getting together in the Ukraine-Russia war. And if you obviously been following me on Twitter, you know how I feel about this. I'm not going to get into it right now. I just want to get into the market, get everybody ready for the day. And what up, Treasure Island, Florida? How's it going, Brooklyn girl? Oh, my grandparents lived in, where'd they live? In Bensonhurst. No, where do they live? Anyway, let's move on. Good morning, Miami. What's up, Northport? What up, San Antonio? Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. I spent mine in Penn State. Chase was playing in Marquee Hoops. Lost in the semifinals, but it was a good weekend for him. What up, Bed-Stuy? There you go. No, where's it Bed-Stuy? Mill Basin. That's what my grandparents. They actually came over on the boat. My dad was 2.5. My dad was born in a Siberian work camp because my grandparents actually fled Warsaw because the Nazis were coming. And when they went back after the Allied forces finally came, their entire family was wiped out. So maybe that's why I'm a little oversensitive to friggin' Russian invasion on a country that's just trying to be free, trying to live. Besides me being there 4 times in the past decade, watching these kids at age 21 start to trade, teach them. Now all of a sudden I was back in August. They have wives and kids, and now what's happening there? Friggin' crazy. Anyway, let's move on. What up, Connecticut? How you doing, West Hartford? All right. Okay, I'm gonna put you guys down. Put you over here so I can see what's happening. Croatia. What up, Croatia? I know a lot of friends who've been there. A lot of programmers in Croatia. You guys are hardworking individuals, also. Okay. Yeah, you know, the energy group has been in fuego. You know, tech has just been a trade. Everything's just been like a love it or leave it trade tactically because we're below the 8-21 day. But you've had these defense names going crazy, and you've also had a lot of these energy names that have been in uptrends with gold and silver. I do have to apologize. I played a few energy names, but I haven't really been that active in the sector. But I've been long a lot of gold and silver for about 6 weeks, besides trading the ranges of these markets. All right, Alexa off. All right, guys. So here we are. Futures are down. I don't know. Alexa off. Alexa's not listening. Alexa's a little testy this morning, just like all of us. So woke up this morning, and you have energy at 13-year highs, and you have Europe down again. The DAX has been like the leading indicator for the futures. It's down almost another 3.5% after a brutal week last week. So the question is, with another convoy going, will there be a little bit more of a ceasefire, which nobody's trusting anyway? So with that being said, we're still in this very fluid situation. The market's given us lots of areas to be long, be short, mostly short, but we've been tactical. Everyone in the alpha team, Redler all access, and hopefully a lot of you guys in the 630 club have been tactical. What does tactical mean? It means you have a lot of cash. You're sitting in a lot of cash, you're trading ranges, you're trying to net money, and you're trying to just string it together without a lot of risk. So real quickly, first thing I do again when I wake up, I take a look overseas. You got the DAX down 3.5%, you have the FTSE down 1%, you have CAC down 2.5%, Asia, which has been trying to be a little bit of relative strength, Nikkei's down 3%, HK's down 4%. So now that, a little bit of a risk off. Okay, if you look here, last week we were talking about being neutral, maybe neutral to positive, depending on which way this range wants to go before another leg lower perhaps. And right here, if you look at the SPYs, this is when you had a red dog reversal sell. This is when, if you were somewhat constructive in here in this pocket pivot, remember we were talking about the pocket pivot? Well, it failed right there. This was 438, couldn't get above this mini trend, this kind of wedge looking pattern, and then broke below. And now the question is, do we get a trade versus a 15-minute low, or do we have a real trend down day? Right now the SPYs are at 425.96. So at this point, the SPYs are below 427-ish. So if we can't reclaim 427, your real next level is 421. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm pretty tactical. I don't have a lot of positions coming in today. I'm going to see, can we get a trade versus a reactionary low? What's a reactionary low? Sometimes you get a low after some market discovery in 5 minutes, 15:30. Sometimes you get it at 11:30 and it's a morning reactionary low, and then things change in the afternoon. But all in all, we've been in a very tactical type tape, and there's been ways to make money. So again, 427-ish is what used to be support. So we'll see if this turns into resistance this morning. And then you have 421, and now is that reversal, which seems like decades ago. It was only 2 weeks ago at 410. The Qs, similar situation. The Qs, if you were trying to be constructive, which at times you can be, every few days the composure of the tape has been different. Obviously, this is when the market broke to start the year, January 4th. That's when we had the first leg lower, and we did come into this year pretty bearish, or at least base case was that we could see at least 10, 15, 20% lower. And obviously, whatever's happened has happened. So now what? So this is 335. This is Friday's low. Here is where we failed. A lot of guys who are trying to be constructive right here got neutral to negative like me. I was trying to hold a few positions just in case there was going to be another move. But you know what? Just want to see if we're live, still going. That's when the market said, nope. You know what? I didn't take my jacket off. What's the matter with me? It's time for business, right? Anyway, so that's where the market kind of failed. That's where, as if you wanted to maybe sell some calls higher, buy some puts, or just get short, or just reduce risk. It all depends on how you feel, what you can handle. That was your spot. And then this was Friday. So the question is, do we stay below 335, meaning sellers keep us below Friday's low to keep control of the movement? If they can and it reclaims it, hey, maybe there's a little bit of a relief of tension there. And then, but if you stay below this, this is 329. Okay, that's this low right here. Okay, so that's why I'm putting it over there. That's a point of reference. And then this is 318. So that's your SPYs and your Qs. Yeah, inflation is nuts right now. That's why the Fed can't, veer off its course, but maybe they won't go 7 rate increases. They might go just, 3 or 4. Hey, what's up, buddy? So anyway, what gave some clues last week that risk is coming off? Well, look at ARK. ARK gave us that 3-day move. We've had 3-day moves in ARK, which is Kathy Wood's ETF, which is her innovation, which is the growth. But every time you get this 3-day bounce, which has been spots to make some money, we've rolled over. So, here you had a 3-day bounce, roll over. Here, 3-day bounce, held in a little bit more, and then broke right there. So this was your 3-day bounce, and then we fell right around 67. So if you were playing some of the names within there, you had to get out of the way. And that's how you have your gate count rules, and you put them together with your tactics, and that's how you can make money and stay safe. So now the question is, this is 59.70. Okay, that is Friday's low, and this is 57.50. So how ARK handles this spot, to me, will be a little bit important today, right? Does it maybe put in a double bottom at first attempt? It did pull in from 71 to below 59. So I would say, pressing there might be tough this morning. So it might be a better, spot to play some kind of tactical move, and then maybe it reclaims 59.70. But that's just for today. If you go to what's working, guys like Red Dog, you missed this. I'm like, yeah, I did chart it for a bunch of guys, right? Where when it broke 398 and then it did a nice bull flag. That's your defense stocks have been in a bull market because we're in this crazy escalation. Then you have stocks like an Oxy. Wow, look at that. We also drew this, and it's been trading perfectly technically, following the my moving averages rules. When something's above the 8 and 21 day, you like to be long it, and these have been, trending really well. There's been a bunch of them. I think Carl Icahn is actually reducing his position in Oxy now because it's had such a big move. And then you have, gold and silver. Yeah, CLF has been awesome. I remember CLF when they thought it was going out of business below $5, or you couldn't buy. It's so cyclical. Every few years, different sectors arise. That's why they say, one group usually never leads the next bull market or the next, situation. But either which way, these have been strong. I've personally been in a big position of gold. Okay, gold broke out above this 174.70. I actually put in a strategy for the world, saying I'm going to just buy a 174 by 177 call spread, to make 240% or whatever it was, and it's been working real well. At this point, if you're just long the GLD, I would trim some into here. It's a little extended. Doesn't mean it's a short. Remember, I showed you this the weekly. The weekly, look at that, just started to break out above this spot, and this is 194. So very nice chart on the weekly and the monthly. The monthly looks like a huge cup and handle still, where, don't get in front of this. I could have made more if I made a bigger spread, but I just wanted to be involved. Silver has been playing some catch up. I have a big silver spread too. Silver seems like it's just starting to go. I listed this right before it broke out here. I have a 120. I have a 22 by 23.50 call spread. I was risking, I think, 30 cents to make $1.20, so that's 3x. And now, I have until March 18th, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's what does that say? Inflation is here. What does that say? Maybe, the escalation moves around. Gold and silver, the charts are real strong. Different right now than Bitcoin. Bitcoin tried to have a move when a lot of people all across Russia or Ukraine, and they were using it as money and then kind of faltered. It's more of a risk asset versus a safety asset. So you go to crypto, crypto is, it trades beautifully technically also, but you got to, let's go to the daily. You have to, know how to maneuver it. Back here, let's get rid of this for a second so we could see it. Back here, this was when, you had to reduce your risk in crypto. This is when Bitcoin broke below the 8 and 21 day right there. Okay, that's when I went to 75% cash. Just like if in the S&P or the Qs, when it broke the 8 and 21 day, I went to actually more than that, 75%. I was just tactical, trying to trade ranges and make cash flow. But anyway, you did have this move all the way down, and then finally, remember, you had that, below the Bollinger Band low where got more risk on. Here, it broke the descending trend line, put more risk on, got to 45, and then right here is where it got rejected at 45, okay, just like resistance in a stock, and then didn't hold 42.5, so it didn't hold higher, it didn't have commitment to, this move up, and so you had to reduce your risk again. So now what? We're either going to hold this 36, or we're going to head back to this 32, 34 area, and I think at this point, if you're in crypto, you have to hope that this is just going to be a channel for a while to absorb some supply before going. But if you were playing for it to be special, 42.5 is where you got to run for the hills. Okay, well, not run for the hills, just reduce risk. I'm in about 60% cash, but I do have some good till cancel orders in here because I'm lighter and I could do that, especially with some of my altcoins. As far as Tesla, some guys are like, what about Tesla today? I'll look at Tesla today. Tesla has been really good tactically. Although it's well off the highs of the year, it's still showing some relative strength versus a lot of the other growth names. So it tells you a little bit what's happening. If you remember this descending trend line we were talking about last week, kind of get above it and show that maybe there's a little bit more risk. Well, it failed right there. That gave me clues also to get more neutral to negative versus neutral to positive. And now what? 825 was Friday's low. At this point, let's see what Tesla's doing. Tesla is down 11. So Tesla actually right now is above Friday's low. So it's still showing some relative strength. That is something I will look at today to maybe I'll buy it for right to green trade. I'm not in it, and I did sell some puts. I'm not sure which ones I sold, but maybe into this down move, you sell some 780 puts or maybe some 760s. And your bet, if you sell the 760 puts, you're thinking that, hey, we hang in here and Tesla's not making new lows of the week, and that's a way to be synthetically long. Any cyber stocks to trade? Unfortunately, again, I have a go-to list of like 40 names, and I've circulated through those, but I haven't really been that active in some of those. But some guys have had a lot of success with the cyber stocks. They've been strong, just like some of the the defense stocks and some of the energy names. I was in Hess for a while. I made good money in Hess. I've traded these things, but again, my special, I hate to say my specialty, but FANG names, semi names, growth names, banks, like those are the groups, and those groups are all faulty. So I'm just kind of watching them to look for different tactical, surgical moves in there versus riding trends right now. Apple, that'll be worth a look today also. That also is one of my names that I've made a living trading. Some people used to call me the Apple trader about 5 years ago, but that was when it was doing awesome and trending. Actually, 2 years ago, it made new all-time highs. But anyway, Apple right now is probably off a little bit. 160, 197 is the low that was holding last week. As of right now, Apple is below it at 160. What's this little pivot right here? This pivot here is 159.75. So I would say if we're going to hold in today, or tech's going to hold in today, if it's going to hold in today, this 159.75 probably holds. I'm not long Apple. I got out of it when it got rejected into this 168 area. I got out of it when it got rejected and did a red dog reversal sell there. So if I sold it there, I have the luxury of testing it here at this 159.75-ish area. But if that doesn't hold, there's lots of room below to those areas. So listen up. It's been a very headline-driven market. It's very complicated situation. There's civilians all over friggin' the Ukraine getting killed. Nobody wanted this. I have friends in Russia just as pissed as obviously the Ukrainians. I'm not going to give a solution as if I know a solution, but a lot of people are getting killed, and there are a lot of things have to change. People, whatever. Frustrating. So with that said, let's focus on what we can control. What can we control? We're coming in with risk down. Let's see where our reactionary lows are. Let's see, does a Tesla or an Apple or a Microsoft, do they give you a little signal of relative strength that you could buy them to go green? Or is today going to be a trend down day? Because the U.S. has been holding up a little bit better than Europe. I think the DAX is down like 15% in a week. Maybe even I might even look for the ETF of Germany. I think that could be worth a look for an oversold bounce just tactically. If we happen to have a trend down day today and the DAX doesn't bounce, but that's just a thought. At this point you can't chase gold. I don't think you could buy it up here, but be careful trying to short it. Oil. Last week I tried to short oil for a day, and then I'm like, it's not worth it. Even though oil is pretty damn parabolic here. Like look at the USO. 80, got above 76 after trying to hold here for a little bit and just exploded again. At this point, USO is probably, what is it, up another, US up another 4 at 83.80. So USO is up here, the 8 days down there. Very hard to sustain that type of move. If you have not been in oil and if you've not been in energy, probably not the best idea to be initiating it today, but it doesn't mean you could blindly short. Could you make some cute money shorting versus a high in the USO? Maybe. I might even try it. I might even go out and sell the $90 calls for a USO, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to play that game because that game's a tough game to play because you know what, that turns into a pain trade sometimes. Anyone who started, shorting oil thinking that, oh, look at this reversal, let me short the USO, and they didn't cover, they're in a pain trade. What's a pain trade? A pain trade is you're caught against a very strong trend that you think has to end, and it doesn't have to end when you think it's going to end. And also a pain trade is for those who were long oil into here and sold it a little early, like, holy cow, I can't believe how much USO I had, and now look at it. That's what we call a pain trade. And traders don't like being in a pain trade, trying to avoid them. But at times, there's ways to make money against the grain, against the over-emotion, which if you're trained to do, which is what we are, we could do it. So we'll see. If all of a sudden something comes out of this third envoy where, like, okay, no shots, ceasefire for 48 hours, you might get a reflex move in these like you might get oil come in a little bit, you might get gold and silver come in a little bit, so you want to listen up. If nothing happens, which it's hard to trust anything happening coming out of those things, as we've seen all these corridors for the civilians to get out of and turned into some death traps in some areas. So that's what you got to listen for now. And then everything else, we have to look for clues and we have to be tactical. And if you're having trouble, cash is a position. after clarity and when things settle down, perhaps if you don't move as fast, that's cool too. We need to do more than Russian oil. 1979 again. Listen, there's a lot of comparisons to the 70s, with inflation, with oil. A lot of comparisons to 1942 when the Nazis invaded friggin' Poland. And it took way too long for the Allied forces to come and 6 million Jews died. How long is it going to take for us to really have to step up before, more and more civilians die in the Ukraine, or it spreads to other, Eastern Bloc countries? But again, I'm trying not to be a friggin' expert in war, but trying to be an expert in some common sense and trying to help you guys navigate this, which is what you can control. You can control your keyboard, okay? You can control your process, but you can't control the world. But there are ways you can contribute. There are people giving money in Airbnb. What they're doing is they're renting Airbnbs in Kiev or in some of the cities in the Ukraine, but they're not going, so that they're giving money to real estate owners who can't rent their places and they're starving. So there's lots of ways for you to help. Just don't close your eyes and be oblivious to what's happening. Yes, maybe our next president won't be 70 plus. Is there anybody in the 40s or 45s that want to become president of the United States that have a centrist approach that that doesn't love the far left and doesn't love the far right, but has common sense and a moderate in the middle? But maybe one day we'll revert back to what most people are like. But we'll see. I'm not talking again. Keep getting back to politics. So let's just move on. So good luck today, guys. It's the start of a week. We'll see how it goes. Technically, not a lot of constructive patterns out there unless you're looking at defense names and energy names, but some of those have gone on a little long in the tooth. Same with the view of oil there. It's been a very strong trend. If you were going to be buying an oil and this was like a tech stock, this is where you should have been buying it at 58, or maybe when it held the 8th day after this extended reversal. But up here is not your spot to be buying oil at your first time. And if you're looking to short it, just to make sure your size is down, you don't do it too early, and you see some kind of reason why. All right. Anyway, be well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'll be here all week, and we'll try and figure out how we can navigate these complicated times. Be safe if you're in the troubled areas. Our prayers are with you, and you have friends out there. Later, guys.